Hey everyone, it's Randy here with you with another edition of Randy on the Road. It's been a little bit since I've joined all of you. Hope you've been well. I have been, like all of us, concerned with and following along with the impact of the NIPSCO rate increases on all of us. My business, my personal life, my role in government it's all impacted by what has turned out to be just massive rate increases. Definitely not as advertised. So, what can we do? How did we get here? Well, first, I think we need to go how we got here. Back in 2021 and 2022, the Democrats had full control of the House, the Senate, and the White House. And during that time, they almost unilaterally passed massive spending bills that had woven into those spending bills huge subsidies and mandates for what they called green energy, which we all know now to be mostly a scam because that green energy is extremely expensive to produce and to transmit. So that's the first part of it, is when the government starts putting money into something like that, it's inevitable that if they're giving away billions of your dollars, the power companies are going to say, well, we're going to change our grid. Well, in order to change their grid, they got to shut down the old grid and build new stuff. So when they build new stuff, they charge all of us, although they already got part of our money to start the process of building it. Next thing, those large spending bills from 2021 and 2022 caused a massive amount of inflation in the raw material costs, the labor costs, to do grid upgrades to meet the sustainable energy goals that the Biden administration had pulled out of their rear ends. So when you couple the two things together, you end up with a situation where we were about to get smashed with high rates. Now, if you also add to that how things are regulated in the state of Indiana as it relates to power. NIPSCO is regulated by the IURC, Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission. The public representative in rate cases is the Office of the Utility Consumer Counselor, or OUCC. Four-letter agencies normally, to me, have another four-letter word that starts with S and ends with T as far as their effectiveness. Don't think that you have an advocate in any one of those agencies. These are unelected officials appointed by the governor or other government officials, and their interest is to look at the statutes that are adopted by the legislature and see if the rate request is justified under the statute. That's it, right? It doesn't matter if it has a massive impact on your life or not, or if you can afford it or not. What matters is that they followed the statute. They followed the code. There's nothing we can do. Yes, there is. The great thing about being a part of a self-government is there's always something you can do. The people make the laws through their representatives. So how do we tackle this going forward? Well, one of the big issues I see is governance. I am a huge believer that the government closest to the people is the government that governs the best. Every time I go to the grocery store, I'm stopped by somebody and they ask questions about different things because they know that I'm an elected official and I'm accessible. We can't hide behind legislative aides or staff from the public. And you know what? I'm okay with that. But how do we take control of this again? Well, the legislature has the power in their hands to truly make a difference in how we govern power utilities. See, municipalities can sell their water and sewer utilities to private entities, and under Indiana Code, Title 8 of the Indiana Code, you can create franchise agreements for utilities. Now, that gives your elected officials at least a little bit of a seat at the table. So let's say that they redefined NIPSCO into a public utility like a sewer or water utility, where due to public health, a municipality just couldn't shut you off. If they redefined it in the same way that water and sewer utilities are redefined or have been defined, then your elected officials at a local level, when there are petitions for higher rates from your power provider, they have a seat at the table then in those IURC discussions. They can show up and petition on your behalf. If NIPSCO had to go through hundreds of town and city councils in order to get their rate case approved, do you think it would change how they do business? I guarantee it would. Because when they're answering directly to your elected officials, the people you elected to represent you, now it's an entirely different process. Now the vetting process starts earlier. They have to work harder to justify it. It gives you more public hearings, more opportunities right in your hometown, to where you don't go down to some four-letter agency in Indianapolis, take off a day of work, find childcare for your kids, so you can go and protest in front of a panel of lawyers, basically, and your protest gets marked down in record, but it doesn't mean a damn thing. So my call to action to the legislators in the Indiana legislature, the Senate and the House, is stop pushing the governance of our power utility to Indianapolis. Put it right in our own backyard at our city and town councils as the first line of defense for the consumer. When a city or town raises water or sewer rates and they own their utility, they have to face the public. And you know what? That same standard should be in place for power utilities. This would change the game completely, folks. But why won't that happen? It makes a lot of sense. Well, the Indiana State Legislature for the last 50 years has been eroding local control every single legislative session. And there's more bills on the docket this year to do exactly that. So I ask you to call, email your state legislators and demand that your city, town, and county councils be given a seat at that table on your behalf. When your power company is looking to jack up your rates and make living in your own home unaffordable, you should have your elected representatives at the table working on your behalf like you do for everything else. And you should be able to access those meetings right in your own backyard. That's enough of this centralization of a regulated monopoly. It's time to decentralize this. It's time to put it back in the hands of the people. Give your elected representatives at a local level a true say-so in the process. That, my friends, would change the game for all consumers of all utilities going forward. Hope you have a good day.